Lucas Media. I was watching 78 Sports TV channel today. Shout out to him. And he talked about the Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu, Rolly Romero price, which I believe it's around 70, 80, between 70 and $80. Somewhere around that range, right? Give or take a few dollars. And as I'm listening to him, and I seen he talked a little bit about this, I kind of wanted to go a little deeper on it. About how, what the world is going on with the PBC. They don't have fighters locked in. We don't know when Tank Davis is going to fight. We don't know when these fighters are going to fight. And we already in March. My thing is, PBC, why is Keith Thurman, Rolly Romero doubleheader $70-something, but I can get Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou on pay-per-view for $40? And the Deontay Wilder fight was around $40. So why like, I'm getting more quality fights with the Zone at a cheaper price than what the PBC has to offer. And I just wonder what the world happened to the PBC. At one point they was fighting on free TV. Remember, they went from HBO to Showtime has free TV, and then that went down the drain, and then they went back to Showtime, and you got all these B and C level fights on pay-per-view, and they're still doing that same model on the Amazon side. So then I have to ask, is there any money in it? Floyd, didn't you say that PBC is really you and Al Heyman's company? So what's going on with it? Why is Tank not fighting at least 3 times a year? The Leo Santa Cruzes and the Gary Russells, and how come Wilder wasn't fighting that often towards the end? It's almost like they got into this, I'm gonna fight once a year, once every 2 years. And I know the fighters can't say anything because they got a clause in their contract where they can't talk about Al Heyman, allegedly. But like, what is going on? These fighters are just wasting time away. Years and years and years. I remember Demetrius Andrade did that. He went with PBC, but it's like, it's so many years and years. Which Charlo was that? Jamal Charlo. Jamel, I don't know. The one who, the WBC champion at 160 pounds. It was like, I know he had stuff outside the ring, but they've been so inactive. And you got people like the Zone. I remember everybody used to make fun of the Zone. And I remember they first came out, and they didn't have to change their model too. Y'all remember at one point they said, fights are gonna be free and you only gotta pay $100 a year, but then now they got the Zone / pay-per-view. But their model is still cheaper than the Amazons now. PBC should have days booked back to back to back to back to back for the rest of the year about who's fighting on what card. They got over 100 fighters in they stable, and then y'all can't secure free TV. Like, why are these fights not on Showtime? Showtime. Why are these fighters not on the ESPNs and the FS1s anymore? For free, they should be on there. Hell, put them on ESPN 2 or something. And I remember when Devin Haney did his own thing. I ain't gonna lie, I was like, man, I was glad he was doing his own thing, but I was like, man, he probably should sign with PBC. He can get all the fights, but I'm really glad he didn't, because who's to say he would have got any of those fights now? Or he'd have been sitting on the shelf. And to all the fighters out there, you want to be like Devin Haney. I'm sorry, I know people don't like him because he's doing his own thing, but you got a man who will jump from network to network. Him and Canelo really the only 2 people I know that's doing it. But Devin Haney did it at 25. He can go to the Zone to make these fights. He can go to Amazon to make these fights. He can go ESPN to make these fights because he's his own promotional person. You know, you got all the people under PBC and they got their own promotions, but then they don't really promote them. You don't see no fighters under them. You don't see them putting on fights under their own promotional companies. It's almost like it's just the name over there. But I want to get my quick thoughts about it. I don't know. I mean, shout out to 78. I saw his video. I just want to make my own video to it. But yeah, what's going on there on the PBC side? Y'all let me know.